Tae-sun sat in the back row of the orbital auction house, watching holographic displays of worthless planets float past. He had been here for 6 hours and his patience was wearing thin. The Galactic estate auction happened once every 3 months, and treasure hunters from across the galaxy came to bid on abandoned colonies, destroyed stations, and forgotten outposts. Most of it was junk, but sometimes, just sometimes, there was gold hidden in the garbage. He watched as a 4-armed Kethrian merchant won the bidding on an asteroid mine. The creature clicked its mandibles in satisfaction. Tae-sun sighed and took a sip of his cold coffee. His ship, the Mugunghwa, waited in the docking bay below. It was a small salvage vessel, scratched and dented from years of hard work. Like its owner, it had seen better days. Lot 847, the auction AI announced. Planet designation Hanul 9, former human colony. Classification Frozen Death World. Surface temperature -230 degrees Celsius. Abandoned for 800 years. Buyer assumes all liability and risks. The hologram showed a white sphere covered in ice. The image zoomed in to reveal broken towers poking through frozen plains. Most bidders ignored it completely. Tae-sun leaned forward in his seat. His assistant, an AI he called Dal, spoke in his earpiece. That planet is worthless. The energy cost to operate there would bankrupt us in a week. But Tae-sun was studying the structures in the hologram. Those towers. That architectural style, he knew it. The curved roofs, the arrangement of buildings, the way the central complex spiraled outward. It was Korean. Old Korean. From the first expansion era when humans first left Earth. Starting bid, the AI continued. 5,000 credits, no one moved. The auction hall was silent. Alien bidders scrolled through their data pads, already looking at the next lot. Going once, Tae-sun raised his hand. We have a bid. 5,000 credits. Do we have 6? Nothing. The aliens thought he was crazy. A human buying a frozen human ruin. Typical sentimental behavior. Going twice. Sold to bidder 247 for 5,000 credits. Tae-sun smiled. He had bought an entire planet for less than a used shuttle. Dal made a sound like a sigh in his ear. The AI did not approve. Additional lots attached to Hanul 9, the auction AI added. All structures, materials, and subsurface rights included. Legal claim transferred immediately. Tae-sun stood up and left the hall. Other bidders stared at him. A tall reptilian merchant laughed, a hissing sound that echoed through the room. Let them laugh. They had not seen what he had seen in those images. Back on his ship, Tae-sun pulled up every file he could find on Hanul 9. There was not much. The colony had been established in 2247, during humanity's first major expansion. It was supposed to be a mining outpost and research station, but something happened. In 2251, just 4 years after founding, the colony was evacuated. Emergency evacuation. Total abandonment. The records were incomplete, damaged by data corruption over the centuries. Why did they leave? Tae-sun muttered. Unknown, Dal replied. But we can make educated guesses. The Great Collapse began in 2250. Thousands of human colonies were abandoned when the gateway network failed. People were trapped, resources ran out. It was chaos. Tae-sun knew the history. Humanity had expanded too fast, relied too much on the alien gateway system. When the network collapsed, human space fractured into isolated pockets. It took 300 years to rebuild, 300 years of darkness. By the time humans reconnected, many colonies were just ruins. But something bothered him about Hanul 9. The evacuation had been planned, organized, not a panicked escape. The files mentioned Project Eternal Garden but gave no details. Classified, still classified after 800 years. Run a deep scan of the auction data, Tae-sun ordered. Look for anything they missed. Dal processed for several seconds. Found something. Energy signature. Very faint. Coming from beneath the ice. Depth, 3.7 kilometers. Tae-sun felt his pulse quicken. Something still has power down there. Impossible to confirm without closer inspection, but yes. After 800 years, something is still active. That changed everything. Active power meant functioning technology. Functioning technology meant value. Maybe weapons, maybe data cores, maybe something worth more than he had paid for 10 planets. Set course for Hanul 9, Tae-sun said. Best speed. That will take us 8 days. And I should mention, we do not have proper cold weather equipment for those temperatures. Then we will buy some at the next station. The Mugunghwa undocked from the orbital station, and jumped to faster-than-light travel. In the silence of his cabin, Tae-sun looked at the images of Hanul 9 again. Those buildings. That style. Someone had tried to recreate Korea on a frozen alien world. He wondered who they were. What their dreams had been. Why they had left it all behind. 8 days later, his ship dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Hanul 9 system. The planet hung in space like a pearl, white and gleaming. 2 small moons orbited it. No satellites. No defenses. Nothing but ice and silence. Beginning orbital scan, Dal announced. Tae-sun watched the data flow across his screens. The planet was dead. No atmosphere worth mentioning. No magnetic field. Radiation from the nearby star had stripped away any protection long ago. The surface was a wasteland of frozen nitrogen and methane, but beneath the ice Dal found the complex. It was huge. A sprawling underground city that stretched for kilometers. Most of it was dark and cold. But in the center, that faint power signature pulsed like a heartbeat. That is a fusion reactor, Dal said with surprise. A small one, but still functional. How is that possible? Maybe someone left it running. Or maybe it is automated. For 800 years, no reactor lasts that long without maintenance. Tae-sun suited up in the heavy cold weather gear he had purchased. The suit was bulky, designed for temperatures that would freeze human flesh in seconds. He checked his helmet seals 3 times. There would be no second chances down there. You should not go alone, Dal warned. This is dangerous. I always go alone. You know that. He took a shuttle down to the surface. The landing was rough. Wind screamed across the frozen plains at 300 kilometers per hour. His shuttle touched down near what looked like a transport shaft. The structure was half buried in ice, but the entrance was clear. Tae-sun activated his suit lights and descended into the darkness. The shaft went down and down. His boots clanged on metal stairs that had not felt footsteps in centuries. Ice crystals coated the walls, glittering in his light. After 20 minutes of climbing, he reached the bottom. A tunnel stretched before him, perfectly preserved. Emergency lights flickered on as he approached, sensing motion. They were dim, running on minimal power, but they worked. Incredible, Dal said through his radio. These systems are still active. Tae-sun walked through the tunnel. He passed sealed doors, empty rooms, frozen corridors. The complex was like a tomb, but it was beautiful. The architecture was traditional Korean style mixed with functional human engineering. Curved beams supported the ceiling. Decorative panels showed mountains and rivers. Someone had tried to bring Earth to this frozen hell. He followed the power signature deeper into the complex. The path led him to a massive chamber. And there in the center stood a vault door. It was 10 meters tall, made of some dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols covered its surface. Some were Korean characters. Others were alien, a script he did not recognize. Tae-sun approached the door slowly. His breath fogged inside his helmet. Something felt wrong. The air pressure was different here. Warmer. Dal, he whispered. I think something is still alive down here. Before the AI could respond, a shadow moved behind him. Tae-sun spun around. A figure stood in the entrance to the chamber. Tall. Very tall. The shape was humanoid, but wrong. Too large. Too powerful. Golden eyes opened in the darkness. And Tae-sun realized he was not alone on this frozen planet after all. The figure stepped into the light and Tae-sun forgot how to breathe. She was massive, easily 7 feet tall, with a body that was both human and something else entirely. Her skin was covered in scales that shifted color from midnight blue to silver as she moved. They caught the dim emergency lights and scattered them like starlight. 2 wings, folded tight against her back, made her silhouette even larger. Her face was angular and sharp with high cheekbones and a strong jaw. But her eyes were what held him frozen. They were gold. Pure molten gold. And they burned with intelligence and fury. She wore armor. Old armor. Ancient human military design but modified to fit her body. The chest plate bore symbols he recognized. Korean military insignia. Rank markers from 800 years ago. She spoke, and her voice was like thunder rolling across mountains. You should not be here. The language was Korean, but Old Korean, the kind spoken on Earth before the expansion. Tae-sun understood it barely. His grandmother had taught him some of the old dialects. He raised his hands slowly, showing he carried no weapons. I am human, he said in modern Korean, hoping she would understand. I own this planet now. I bought it legally. Her golden eyes narrowed. Human. She said the word like she was tasting it. It has been so long since I heard that word spoken aloud. She moved closer and Tae-sun saw details he had missed. Her scales were scarred in places. Old wounds healed long ago. Her armor was worn, repaired many times with whatever materials she could find. She looked tired. Incredibly tired. Like someone who had been awake far too long. What are you? Tae-sun asked. I am Yuna, last guardian of the seed, last defender of Hanul 9. She tilted her head. And you are the first human I have seen in 800 years. 800 years. The number hit him like a physical blow. You have been here since the evacuation? I stayed. Someone had to stay. Her wings shifted slightly, a gesture that seemed sad. They promised they would come back. They said the colony would return when the collapse ended. I waited. I am still waiting. The collapse ended, Tae-sun said gently. Hundreds of years ago. Humanity survived. We rebuilt. We are a major galactic power now. Yuna stared at him. For a long moment she said nothing. Then something broke in her expression. The fury faded, replaced by grief so profound it hurt to witness. They did not come back, she whispered. They forgot us. They did not forget. The records were lost. So many colonies were abandoned. Millions died. It was chaos. By the time humanity recovered, they could not find all the lost settlements. But you are found now. You are not alone anymore. Yuna looked at the vault door behind her, then back at him. Why did you come here? I am a salvage merchant. I find old human ruins and recover what I can. History, technology, culture, I preserve what was lost. A scavenger. A historian, Tae-sun corrected. Yuna studied him for a long time. Then she moved past him to the vault door. She placed one clawed hand against the metal. This is what I guard. The seed, the last hope of Project Eternal Garden. What is the seed? Something precious. Something powerful. Something that could reshape the galaxy. She turned back to him. Something I cannot let fall into the wrong hands. Prove you are worthy. Prove you are truly human and not some trick. Tae-sun hesitated. How? Give me your genetic sample. If you are human, the vault will recognize you. He extended his arm. Yuna approached carefully as if he might bolt. She drew a small device from her armor, something ancient and battered. She pressed it against his wrist. It hummed, scanning his DNA. A light turned green. Yuna's eyes widened. You are human. Truly human. Not engineered. Not artificial. She stepped back. I have not been wrong. I have not failed my duty. What are you? Tae-sun asked again. I have traveled the galaxy for 15 years. I have never seen anyone like you. I am Draconian. My species is old. Older than humanity. We were few even when humans first went to the stars. Now I may be the last. She gestured to herself. We bonded with humans during the first expansion. We served as guardians, protectors. In exchange, we received purpose, belonging. Bonded? A sacred oath. A connection deeper than words. I bonded with a scientist named Daewon. He led Project Eternal Garden. When the collapse came, when they evacuated Hanul 9, Daewon asked me to stay, to guard the seed until humanity could return. I accepted. That was my last sight of him. Standing in the transport shuttle, looking back at me as they lifted off, Tae-sun felt a lump in his throat. I am sorry. He died 300 years ago. I felt it. The bond tells me when my human passes. It is like a light going out. Yuna walked to the wall and pressed a panel. A hidden door slid open, revealing a small room. Come, I will show you something. Tae-sun followed her into the room. His breath caught. It was a garden. A small, beautiful garden. Real plants somehow alive in this frozen tomb. Trees with leaves that glowed softly blue. Flowers that pulsed with gentle light. A small stream of water ran through the center, warmed by some hidden system. I maintained this, Yuna said quietly. Daewon designed it before he left. He said I would need something living to keep me sane. He was right. This garden is what kept me alive through the centuries. Along one wall was a memorial, photographs of people, names carved in stone, dates of birth and death. The people of Hanul 9, Yuna explained. The ones I could track. The ones who made it off this planet. I monitored human networks for centuries, watching for their names. When they died, I added them here. Daewon is there, and his children, and their children. 7 generations. Tae-sun moved closer to the memorial. He saw the photos. Young faces, old faces, people who had lived full lives across the galaxy, never knowing that here on a frozen planet someone remembered them, someone honored them. "This is beautiful," he said. "This is all I had. Memories and duty." A sudden alarm blared. Dal's voice crackled in Taesoon's helmet radio. "We have a problem. I'm detecting ships entering the system. Multiple vessels. Military grade," Taesoon cursed. "Who are they?" "Scanning now. Signatures match Vescari Collective. They are hailing us. They want to know why we are here." Yuna's expression hardened. "Vescari, scavengers, pirates. They strip worlds bare and sell everything. If they learn about the seed, they will take it. How do they know we are here?" "The vault," Yuna said grimly. "Opening even the outer chamber sends a signal, a beacon. I have been careful for 800 years to never trigger it. But your arrival, your genetic scan, it started automatic systems I could not control. The beacon activated. Can we stop it?" "No, the Vescari are coming. They will arrive in less than 3 days." Yuna moved to a wall panel and activated ancient displays. Tactical screens flickered to life, showing orbital positions and defense grids. "I have weapons. Old weapons, but they still work. I have maintained everything." "We need to open the vault," Taesoon said. "Take the seed and leave before they arrive." "It is not that simple. The vault requires 2 keys. Human genetic signature, yes, but also Draconian biosignature. Daewon designed it that way. He trusted me to guard it, but he also knew I might face this choice someday. So we open it together." Yuna looked at him with those burning gold eyes. "Opening it requires a bond, a draconian oath link. It is permanent. You and I would be connected for the rest of our lives. You would feel what I feel, know what I know. There is no breaking it." Taesoon met her gaze. He thought about his life. 15 years alone in space. No family, no real friends. Just Dal and his ship and endless ruins. He thought about this creature who had waited 800 years for someone to come back, who had maintained a garden for ghosts, who had never abandoned her duty. "Tell me about the oath link," he said. "It is a draconian ritual. Blood and fire and words. Once done, we are bonded. Partners, I will feel your emotions, your pain, your joy. You will feel mine. If you die, I will feel it like I felt Daewon's death, and you will feel mine. But we can open the vault. Yes. And save the seed. Yes." Taesoon looked at the memorial wall, at all those faces of people who had lived and died while Yuna waited alone in the dark. "Then let us do it," he said. "I accept the bond." Yuna stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she smiled. It was the first smile Taesoon had seen from her. It transformed her face from fierce to beautiful. "You are either very brave or very foolish, human. Probably both." "Very well. We will perform the ceremony. But know this, Taesoon. Once we are bonded, I will protect you as I protected Daewon, and I will expect you to honor the seed as he did. Can you promise that?" "I promise. Then we begin tomorrow. Tonight, rest, eat, prepare yourself. The oath link is not easy. It will change you. And there is no going back." Taesoon nodded. He left the garden and found a small room that Yuna had prepared. It had been a guard station once. Now it was almost comfortable. He lay down on the old bunk and stared at the ceiling. Dal spoke in his ear. "Are you certain about this?" "No, but it is the right thing to do." "The right thing often gets you killed." "Maybe. But I did not come all this way to abandon her now." Outside in the garden, Yuna stood before the memorial. She touched Daewon's photograph gently. "I found another one," she whispered. "Another good human. You would have liked him?" The glowing flowers pulsed softly in the darkness. Taesoon woke to the smell of cooking food. Real food, not ration packs. He sat up confused. Where would food come from on a dead planet? He found Yuna in the garden, tending a small fire. She had caught something. A fish from the underground stream, somehow still alive after 8 centuries. She cooked it over flames that came from her mouth. Careful, controlled fire that did not burn the delicate plants around them. "You can breathe fire," Taesoon said. "Draconians can do many things humans find surprising." She handed him a portion of the cooked fish on a flat stone. "Eat. The ceremony requires strength." The fish tasted better than anything he had eaten in months. They ate in silence, surrounded by glowing flowers. Taesoon noticed details he had missed in the darkness. The trees were not just decorative. They were part of a larger system, their roots connected to pipes and cables. They were alive, yes, but also technological. Biomechanical hybrids, Daewon created them, Yuna said, noticing his attention. He was a genius with biotechnology. The garden is not just beautiful. It is functional. These plants generate oxygen, purify water, produce food. They are why I survived so long. He must have cared about you very much. He did. And I cared for him. The bond between human and Draconian is not romantic, but it is love. Deep love. The kind that lasts beyond death. She set down her food. Are you ready? Taesun nodded. Yuna led him to the center of the garden where the stream formed a small pool. The water glowed with soft blue light. She reached into her armor and pulled out a knife. It was old, ceremonial, with symbols etched into the blade. Give me your hand, she said. He extended his hand. She cut his palm, a quick, clean cut. Blood welled up, bright red against his skin. Then she cut her own palm. Her blood was darker, almost purple. Repeat my words, Yuna commanded. She pressed her bleeding palm against his. Their blood mixed, warm and strange. I offer my strength to you. I offer my strength to you. Taesun repeated. I share your burden. I share your burden. I walk beside you until the stars grow cold. I walk beside you until the stars grow cold. Yuna's eyes began to glow brighter. Fire flickered at the edges of her mouth. I bind my soul to yours forever. I bind my soul to yours forever. The garden erupted with light. The trees blazed brilliant blue. The flowers pulsed like hearts. The water in the pool began to boil. Taesun felt something rush through him, hot and electric. It was like being struck by lightning. He gasped and tried to pull away, but Yuna held his hand firm. Do not break contact, she growled. Not until it is finished. Images flashed through his mind. Memories that were not his own. He saw through Yuna's eyes. Saw Hanul 9 when it was alive, full of people and laughter. Saw Daewon, a kind-faced man with gentle eyes and clever hands. Saw the panic when the collapse began. Saw the evacuation, people running to shuttles. Saw Daewon standing at the shuttle door, tears on his face, asking Yuna to stay. Please stay. Please guard what we built. He felt her loneliness. 800 years of it. The weight of centuries pressed down on him like an ocean. He felt her waking from stasis every 50 years to check systems, to maintain the garden, to wait. Always waiting. He felt the moment Daewon died 300 years ago, a light going out. A piece of her heart dying, and she felt him. He knew she did. Felt his own loneliness, smaller but similar. Felt his wandering across the galaxy, searching for something he could not name. Felt his love for history, for preserving what humanity had lost. Felt his fear that he would die alone and forgotten. The light faded. The garden returned to normal. Taesun collapsed to his knees, gasping. Yuna knelt beside him, breathing hard. Her hand was still pressed to his. It is done, she whispered. We are bonded now. Do you feel it? He did. He could sense her presence like a warm glow in the back of his mind. Could feel her emotions. Muted but present. Relief, hope, fear, joy, all mixed together. I feel you, he said. And I feel you. Come. We must open the vault while we still have time. They walked together to the great chamber. The massive door waited, dark and imposing. Yuna placed her hand on a panel. Human key first. Taesun pressed his hand beside hers. The panel lit up, scanning his genetics. Green light. Accepted. Now together, Yuna said. The bond allows us to act as one. They pressed their palms flat against the door. Taesun felt power flow through the connection. The bond amplified their biosignatures, merging them. The door recognized what they were. Partners, guardians. Ancient mechanisms grown to life. Dust fell from the ceiling. The door began to open, splitting down the middle with a sound like thunder. Light spilled out from inside. Clean white light that had not been seen in 800 years. They stepped through together. The inner vault was enormous. A cathedral of technology and nature. More gardens grew here, even larger than the one outside. But these gardens were different. The trees were crystal and metal. The flowers were holographic displays. And in the center, suspended in a beam of light, was the seed. It was beautiful. A sphere of living crystal about the size of a human head. Colors swirled inside it, shifting and changing. Green and blue and gold. Taesun could see patterns in the colors. DNA helixes. Mathematical formulas, star maps, it was all encoded in the crystal itself. This is the seed, Una said softly. The genetic library of Earth. Over 100,000 species encoded in crystalline memory. Trees, fish, insects, mammals, everything. Including species that went extinct before humans left Earth. Tae-sun moved closer. The seed pulsed gently as if it were alive. This is incredible. It is more than a library. The seed contains terraforming technology. Technology that was lost during the collapse. With this, humanity could transform dead worlds into living paradises in decades instead of centuries. Why did they leave it here? They could not take it. The evacuation was rushed. The seed was too large, too delicate. They planned to come back, but the collapse lasted too long. By the time humanity rebuilt, they had forgotten where they left it. Tae-sun studied the crystal. What else is in here? Knowledge, cultural data, art and music and literature from old Earth, and weapons technology, defense systems, emergency protocols. Daewon was paranoid. He knew that if the wrong people found the seed, they would use it for conquest instead of creation, so he hid it on the coldest planet he could find and left you to guard it. Yes. Una reached out but did not touch the crystal. I have maintained this vault for 8 centuries. I have kept the seed safe, but I knew this day would come. Someone would find it eventually. I just hoped it would be someone worthy. Do you think I am worthy? Una looked at him. Through the bond, he felt her evaluation, her judgment. You came alone to a dead planet. You treated me with respect when you could have run. You accepted the bond knowing it would change your life forever. Yes, I think you are worthy. Dal's voice crackled in Tae-sun's helmet radio, shattering the moment. We have incoming. The Viscari fleet just entered high orbit. 5 warships. They are scanning the surface. They know something is here. Una's expression hardened. We must take the seed and leave, now. How do we move it? Una went to a side panel and activated controls. A containment unit rose from the floor, transparent and glowing. This is designed to transport the seed. It will protect it from damage and shield it from scans. Together, they carefully lifted the crystal and placed it in the containment unit. The moment the seed was secured, alarms began blaring throughout the complex. What is happening? Tae-sun shouted over the noise. Defensive protocols. The vault is programmed to protect the seed at all costs. By removing it, we have triggered automatic systems. Una ran to a main console. Her clawed fingers flew across ancient controls. The facility is arming weapons. Point defense turrets. Energy shields, everything. Can we shut it down? No, and we should not. The Viscari are landing assault teams. They will reach us in minutes. Let the defenses slow them down. Tae-sun grabbed the containment unit. It was heavy, but manageable. Where do we go? The maintenance tunnels. They lead to the surface 2 kilometers north of here. We can reach your shuttle. Una pulled a weapon from a wall mount. A rifle, old but well-maintained. I will cover our retreat, they ran. Behind them, the vault began to seal itself. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut. The garden's glowing trees blazed bright, drawing power from the reactor to fuel defensive systems. Tae-sun felt a pang of sadness. 800 years of careful maintenance, and now it would all be destroyed. Through the bond, Una felt his regret. Do not mourn the garden. Its purpose is fulfilled. The seed lives. That is all that matters. They entered the maintenance tunnels, narrow passages lined with pipes and cables. Tae-sun heard explosions above. The Viscari had reached the complex. The automated defenses were engaging them. How many are coming? Una asked. Dal answered through the radio. I count 40 assault shuttles. Approximately 200 raiders. They are heavily armed. 200, Tae-sun gasped. We cannot fight that many. We do not need to fight them all. Just survive long enough to escape. Una's wings scraped against the tunnel ceiling. Keep moving. They ran through the darkness, guided only by emergency lights. The containment unit bumped against Tae-sun's legs, awkward and heavy. Behind them, the sounds of battle grew louder. Explosions, weapon fire. Alien screams. The tunnel began to slope upward. They were getting close to the surface. But then Una stopped suddenly, her head tilted. They are ahead of us, she said. What? I hear them. My senses are sharper than human. The Viscari sent teams to cut off escape routes. They are waiting at the tunnel exit. Can we go around? No, we go through. Una checked her rifle. Stay behind me. Protect the seed. No matter what happens, you must get it to your ship. I am not leaving you. Through the bond, Yuna felt his determination. She smiled, fierce and proud. Then we fight together. Like true partners. She kicked open the tunnel door and charged into the light. The Veskari were waiting on the surface just as Yuna predicted. 6 of them, armored in black combat suits, weapons raised. They were insect-like creatures with multiple limbs and compound eyes that glittered in the pale light of Hanul 9's distant sun. Yuna burst from the tunnel entrance like a storm. Her wings exploded outward. Fully extended nearly 4 meters across, she roared, and the sound was primal and terrifying. Fire erupted from her mouth in a cone of searing heat. The Veskari scattered. 2 of them were too slow. The flames caught them, and they fell screaming to the ice. Taesun stumbled out of the tunnel behind her, clutching the containment unit. The cold hit him like a hammer, even through his protective suit. -200 degrees. His suit's heating system screamed warnings. Move, Yuna shouted. She fired her rifle, precise controlled shots. Another Veskari went down. The remaining 3 returned fire, energy bolts sizzling through the frozen air. 1 bolt hit Yuna's shoulder. She grunted but did not stop. Through the bond, Taesun felt her pain. It was sharp and hot, but underneath it was determination like iron. She would not fall. Not here. Not when they were so close. He ran toward the shuttle, visible 100 meters away across the ice. The wind howled, trying to push him back. The containment unit grew heavier with each step. His legs burned. His lungs ached. More Veskari appeared from behind ice formations. 12 of them. They must have been hiding, waiting for the right moment. They opened fire on Taesun. Yuna was there in an instant, wings spread wide, putting herself between him and the incoming fire. Energy bolts hammered into her armor. 1 punched through her wing membrane. She screamed but held position. I cannot lose you, she snarled. Not after 800 years. Run! Taesun ran! He heard Yuna fighting behind him, heard her rifle crack again and again, heard her roar of defiance. Through the bond, he felt everything. Her pain, her rage, her fierce protective love. He reached the shuttle and slammed the containment unit into the cargo bay. His fingers fumbled with the controls. The cold made everything slow and clumsy. Finally, the ramp began to close. Yuna appeared out of the white storm, running hard. Blood stained her armor. 1 wing hung damaged, but her golden eyes blazed with life. She leaped up the ramp just as it sealed shut. The shuttle lurched into the air. Dal had taken control from the Mugunghwa in orbit, flying the shuttle remotely. Energy bolts struck the hull as they climbed. The shields held barely. Taesun pulled off his helmet and rushed to Yuna. She had collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. Blood dripped from multiple wounds. Her wing was torn badly. How bad? He asked. I will live. Wings heal. She looked at the containment unit. The seed? Safe. She closed her eyes. Good, that is good. Through the bond, Taesun felt her exhaustion. Not just from the fight. This was deeper. 800 years of tired. She had been strong for so long, holding everything together through sheer will. Now finally she could rest. Someone else shared the burden. The shuttle docked with the Mugunghwa. Taesun helped Yuna to the medical bay. His ship's automated systems began treating her wounds. The wing would take weeks to fully heal, but she would recover. We need to leave this system now, Dal said. The Veskari fleet is positioning for an orbital strike. They know we have something valuable. Can we fight them? Taesun asked. 5 warships against a salvage vessel? No, we must run. Taesun went to the bridge. Through the view screen, he saw Hanul 9 below. The white planet where Yuna had waited so long. Where Daewon had built his dream. Where the seed had slept for centuries. What about the complex? He asked. All the technology there. The gardens. The history. Already gone, Dal reported. The Veskari are bombarding the surface. The vault self-destructed when we removed the seed. Nothing remains but ice and debris. Taesun felt a wave of sadness from Yuna. She had appeared on the bridge, limping but mobile. She stared at the planet below. 800 years, she said quietly. 800 years of waiting. And now it is gone. You are not gone. The seed is not gone. That is what matters. Is it? She turned to him and her eyes were wet. That was my home. My prison, my purpose. And now it is ash. Taesun crossed the bridge and took her hand, the one they had cut for the ceremony. The wound had already healed, but a scar remained. Your purpose is not ash. It is right here, in this. He squeezed her hand. We are bonded now, partners. Your duty was to protect the seed until humanity could return. Well, humanity returned, I am here, and we will finish what Day One started. Through the bond, Yuna felt his sincerity, his strength, his absolute determination. She had been alone for so long, carrying the weight by herself. Now someone else shared it. The relief was overwhelming. Where do we go? She asked. Somewhere safe. Somewhere we can study the seed properly. Somewhere the Viscari cannot follow. Human space. Central systems. They would not dare attack us there. Then that is where we go. Dal set course for New Sol Station. Best speed. New Sol? Yuna repeated the name. There is a New Sol? There is. A massive orbital station above a beautiful world. Home to 50 million humans. You will like it. They have gardens. Real gardens. With plants from Earth. The Mugungwa's engines flared to life. The ship turned away from Hanul 9, away from the Vescari fleet, and jumped to faster-than-light travel. The stars stretched into lines and they were gone. In the medical bay, Tyson helped Yuna into a proper bed. She had not slept in a real bed in centuries. The ship's bunks were designed for humans, too small for her, but she made it work by tucking her wings close. Rest, Tyson said. You need time to heal. I have rested enough for 800 years. We should examine the seed, learn what it contains. We will, but first you heal. That is an order. Yuna raised an eyebrow. You cannot order me. We are partners, not commander and subordinate. Fine, then I am asking. Please rest, she smiled slightly. When you ask like that, how can I refuse? She settled into the bed, her scales shifting to a darker blue as she relaxed. Will you stay? Just for a while. I have been alone so long. It would be good to have company. Taesun pulled up a chair. I will stay. They sat in comfortable silence. Through the bond, they shared emotions without words, peace, relief, hope. After a while, Yuna spoke again. Tell me about humanity. Tell me what happened after the collapse. I know facts from monitoring transmissions, but facts are not stories. I want to understand, so Taesun told her. He told her about the 300 years of darkness when human colonies were isolated and struggling. He told her about the reconnection wars when humans fought to rebuild the Gateway network. He told her about first contact with the galactic community, about humanity's rise to power, about the colonies that thrived and the ones that failed. He told her about Earth, beautiful blue Earth recovered from centuries of damage, now a nature preserve and cultural center. He told her about the megastructures humans had built, orbital rings, Dyson swarms, generation ships heading to distant galaxies. We survived, he said. Despite everything, despite the collapse, despite the wars and the hardships, humanity survived and grew stronger, just like Day One hoped. He would be proud, Yuna said softly. He always believed in humanity's resilience. He used to say that humans were like weeds. No matter how harsh the environment, they found a way to grow. What was he like? Really like, not just memories through the bond. Yuna's eyes grew distant. He was kind, gentle, but underneath was steel. He worked 18-hour days to build Hanul 9. He believed that humans needed to preserve their culture as they spread to the stars. That is why the colony was designed in Korean style. That is why he created the seed. He wanted to make sure that no matter what happened, Earth's legacy would survive. And he trusted you to protect it. He did. He was the first human I ever bonded with. My people were skeptical of humans at first. We thought you were too short-lived, too chaotic. But Day One showed me that short lives could burn brighter than long ones. That chaos could become creativity. She looked at Taesun. You remind me of him. Not in appearance, but in spirit. You have that same determination. That same refusal to give up. I will take that as a compliment. It is the highest compliment I can give. They talked for hours. Yuna told him about draconian culture, about her people's history. She told him about the other guardians she had known, all long dead now. She told him about the loneliness of stasis, the terrible moment of waking and realizing another 50 years had passed. And Taesun told her about his own loneliness, about traveling the galaxy alone, about losing his family to a plague when he was young, about dedicating his life to preserving history, because he could not preserve the people he loved. We are like you and I, Yuna said. Both searching for something we lost, both carrying memories of the dead. Maybe that is why the bond worked so well. Perhaps, or perhaps the universe knew we needed each other. Dal interrupted gently. We will arrive at New Seoul Station in 6 days. I recommend you both rest. The station authorities will have many questions. What will we tell them? Tae-sun asked. The truth, Yuna said. We will tell them we have found something precious, something that belongs to all humanity, and we will ask for their protection. Do you think they will help us? I do not know, but we must try. The seed is too important to keep secret, and it is too dangerous to leave unprotected. She yawned, showing sharp teeth. But Dal is right. We should rest. Tomorrow we can plan properly. Tae-sun stood to leave, but Yuna caught his hand. Thank you, she said, for coming to Hanul 9, for accepting the bond, for giving me hope again. Thank you for waiting, for keeping the seed safe, for not giving up. Through the bond, they shared a moment of perfect understanding. Two lonely souls no longer alone. Tae-sun left the medical bay and went to his own quarters. He lay in his bunk and stared at the ceiling. He could feel Yuna in the back of his mind, a warm presence. She was falling asleep, finally peaceful after 800 years of watchful tension. He smiled and closed his eyes. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, for the first time in a very long time, neither of them was alone. 6 days passed quickly. Yuna healed faster than Tae-sun expected. Her wing membrane regenerated, the torn sections knitting themselves back together with barely a scar. She spent most of her time studying the seed, running analysis after analysis. It is more sophisticated than I remembered, she told him on the 3rd day. The data encoding is layered. Surface level is the genetic library, but underneath are blueprints, terraforming equipment, biomechanical designs, and deeper still, something I cannot fully access. It requires codes that Daewon never gave me. Why would he lock sections away from you? Protection. If I was captured, tortured, the enemy could not extract everything. He was careful. Paranoid, but careful. They worked together, cataloging what they could access. The genetic library alone was staggering. Over 100,000 Earth species, including 37 that had gone extinct before the first expansion. Tigers, elephants, blue whales, creatures that existed now only in historical records. Until now. We could bring them back, Tae-sun said, staring at the data. With this information, we could clone them. Restore ecosystems, that is what Daewon intended. The seed was meant to be humanity's gift to the galaxy. Life from Earth spread to dead worlds, making gardens in the void. New Seoul Station appeared in the view screen on the 6th day. It was massive. A ring-shaped structure 30 kilometers in diameter, rotating slowly to create artificial gravity. Ships of every size and shape docked at its ports. The station was a hub of human civilization, home to scientists, merchants, diplomats, and families. It is beautiful, Yuna breathed, pressing close to the view screen. So many lights. So much life. Welcome to humanity's golden age, Tae-sun said. Dal guided them to a visitor dock. As soon as they connected, station security hailed them. Vessel Mugunghwa, this is New Seoul Security. We need to inspect your cargo before granting entrance permission. Tae-sun exchanged a glance with Yuna. They had discussed this moment. Security, this is Captain Tae-sun. I need to speak with the station administrator immediately. I have discovered something of extreme importance to humanity. It requires top-level security clearance. There was a pause. Stand by. 10 minutes later, a new voice came through. Female, authoritative, no nonsense. Captain Tae-sun, this is Administrator Hae-won. You are claiming to have made an important discovery? Yes, Administrator. I have recovered a first expansion-era artifact. Project Eternal Garden. It contains genetic data and terraforming technology. And I have a guardian with me. A draconian who has protected this artifact for 800 years. Another pause, longer this time. A draconian alive? Captain, I need you to understand that we take false claims very seriously. I understand. Allow me to send you preliminary data. Just enough to verify my claim. Proceed. Tae-sun transmitted a small sample from the seed, genetic sequences for 5 extinct species. The data was undeniable, verifiable against historical records. The pause this time lasted nearly 5 minutes. When Administrator Hae-won spoke again, her voice was shaken. Captain Tae-sun, you will dock immediately at Secure Bay 7. A military escort will meet you. Do not, I repeat, do not discuss this discovery with anyone. Do you understand? Understood. They docked at the secure bay. A squad of soldiers in powered armor waited, along with a woman in civilian clothes. She was middle-aged, with sharp, intelligent eyes and hair going gray at the temples. Administrator Haiwan Tai-sun and Yuna descended the ramp together. The soldiers tensed when they saw Yuna. She was intimidating even when trying to look peaceful. 7 feet tall, scales glittering under the dock lights, wings folded close to her back. Administrator Haiwan stepped forward carefully. "I am Administrator Haiwan. You must be Yuna." "I am." Yuna's voice was controlled, formal. "I am the last guardian of Project Eternal Garden. I have maintained my duty for 800 years. Now I transfer custody of the seed to humanity's representatives." Haiwan blinked. "Just like that? You do not want compensation? Recognition? I want to fulfill my oath. That is all I have ever wanted." The administrator looked at Tai-sun. "And you? You bought a planet, discovered this artifact, and you are just handing it over?" "The seed belongs to humanity," Tai-sun said. "Not to me. I am a historian. I preserve the past so it can serve the future. This is the greatest discovery of my life. I will not hoard it for profit." Haiwan studied them both for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. "Come with me. We have much to discuss." They were taken to a secure conference room deep in the station's core. Scientists were called in, military officers, government officials. For 3 days, Tai-sun and Yuna answered questions. They explained everything. The collapse, the evacuation, Yuna's 800-year vigil, the Vescary attack, the escape. The seed was examined by the best minds humanity had. The verdict was unanimous. It was real. It was functional. It was the most important biological and technological discovery in 400 years. The terraforming technology alone could transform our colonization efforts, one scientist said, practically shaking with excitement. We could make a dozen dead worlds habitable in the time it currently takes to prepare one. The genetic library is priceless, another added. We can restore extinct species, study lost ecosystems. The knowledge here could advance biology by a century. But not everyone was thrilled. A military commander, a stern man named General Quan, expressed concerns. This technology could also be weaponized. Imagine hostile forces using the terraforming systems in reverse, turning living worlds into dead ones, or the genetic data being used to create bioweapons. That is why Day One built in safeguards, Yuna explained. The seed cannot be used for destruction. It is coded at a fundamental level to support life, not end it. Any attempt to weaponize it will cause the system to shut down. You are certain? Day One was certain, and I trust his work. The debates continued. Some wanted to keep the seed secret, hidden away in a government vault. Others argued it should be shared with the entire galactic community. Still others wanted to use it immediately, starting terraforming projects right away. Tai-sun and Yuna listened to it all. Through the bond, they shared frustration. These humans meant well, but they thought too small. They saw the seed as a tool, a resource to be managed. They did not understand it as Day One had, as a gift, as hope. On the 4th day, Administrator Haiwan called them to a private meeting. "I have made a decision," she said. "The seed will be transferred to the Human Preservation Foundation. It is a civilian organization, not military or government. They will study it, develop it, and eventually use it, but slowly, carefully, with respect for what it represents." "That is acceptable," Yuna said. "There is more. The Foundation wants you both to join them. Yuna, you know the seed better than anyone alive. Tai-sun, your skills as a historian and archaeologist would be invaluable. Together you would lead the project." Tai-sun looked at Yuna. Through the bond, he felt her surprise, and her interest. "There is something else," Haiwan continued. "The seed's data included references to other sites, other hidden facilities from Project Eternal Garden. It seems Hanul 9 was not the only location. Daewon created a network. 6 more sites across the galaxy, each containing different resources. 6 more? Tai-sun felt his pulse quicken. Where? We do not have exact coordinates, but the seed contains clues, encrypted star maps, cultural references. It would take someone with your skills to decode them. Haiwan smiled. So what do you say? Will you continue the search? Find what Daewon left behind? Yuna's golden eyes blazed with excitement. For the first time in 800 years, she had a purpose beyond waiting, beyond maintaining. She had a mission. We accept, she said. And through the bond, Tai-sun felt her joy. It matched his own. The next 2 months were a whirlwind. They worked with the Foundation, training researchers on how to access and use the seed's data. They helped establish protocols, security measures, ethical guidelines, and in their spare time, they searched for clues to the other sites. The first clue was in the genetic data itself. One of the extinct species was a flower that only grew in certain star systems. Cross-referencing the flower's environmental requirements with astronomical data, they narrowed down possible locations. Here, Taesun said, pointing to a star map. This system. The planet's temperature and atmospheric composition match perfectly. And look at the name. Baekdu 7, named after a mountain in Korea. Daewon was sentimental, Yuna said with a smile. He would absolutely hide something there. They took the Mugunghwa and jumped to the Baekdu system. The planet was lush and green, already terraformed centuries ago. But according to the seed's clues, there was a hidden facility in the northern mountain range. They found it 3 days later. A small complex, much smaller than Hanul 9, built into a mountainside. No guardian here, just automated systems still running after 800 years. Inside, they found data cores, research notes, more genetic samples, and a message from Daewon recorded before the collapse. His face appeared on the screen, kind and tired, just as Yuna remembered. If you are seeing this, then someone found the seed, someone worthy. I hope it was humanity that found it. I hope we survived, but if not, if another species discovers this, I hope they use it wisely. The seed is my life's work, my gift to the future. Use it to create, not destroy. Use it to bring life to the void. That is all I ask. That is all I hope for. The message ended. Yuna stood silent, tears running down her scaled cheeks. Taesun took her hand. He would be proud of you, he said quietly. 800 years. You kept his dream alive. We kept it alive. You and I, together. They recovered the data and returned to New Seoul. The Foundation was thrilled. The second site contained agricultural research, methods for growing earth crops on alien worlds, more pieces of Daewon's vision. 5 more sites remained, 5 more searches. But they had time. And they had each other. 50 years passed. Taesun was now 84 years old, his hair white, his face lined with age. But his eyes were still sharp, still curious, still hungry for discovery. Yuna had not aged at all. Draconians lived for centuries. She was still young by her species' standards, but she had changed in other ways. She smiled more, laughed more. The weight of her long vigil had lifted, replaced by joy. Together they had found all 6 sites. The seed's network was complete. The Foundation had used the technology carefully, responsibly. 12 dead worlds had been transformed into living paradises. Extinct species had been restored. Earth's legacy was spreading across the galaxy, and New Seoul hosted a celebration. The first world fully terraformed by seed technology was opening for colonization. They had named it New Hanul, in honor of the frozen planet where the journey began. Taesun and Yuna stood together on a viewing platform, watching shuttles descend to the new world below. It was beautiful. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds, a second Earth, born from the dream of a scientist who died 300 years ago. He would be so happy, Yuna whispered. Daewon, he would be so happy to see this. He is seeing it, Taesun said. Through you, through the seed, his dream lives. Below, in the capital city of New Hanul, workers were putting finishing touches on a memorial, a statue carved from white stone. It showed 2 figures side by side, a human man and a Draconian woman, partners, guardians. At the base, an inscription read in both Korean and Draconian script. Some bonds last forever. Some duties become destiny. Yuna read the inscription and smiled. Do you think we fulfilled our duty? I think we exceeded it. We did not just preserve the past. We helped build the future. Then our bond was worth it. Every moment, Taesun squeezed her hand. He was old now. He would not live much longer. A few more years at most. Through the bond, Yuna knew this. She would feel his death just as she had felt Daewon's. It would hurt, but it would not break her, because she knew that some duties were worth the pain. What will you do? Taesun asked. After I am gone? Continue the work. There is still so much to discover, so much to preserve. And someday perhaps I will find another partner, another human worthy of the bond. The galaxy is large, and humanity is full of surprises. You will find them. I am certain. They stood together on the viewing platform, watching the new world turn below, a world of gardens and hope. A world that proved humanity's resilience, a world that honored the memory of those who dreamed impossible dreams. And in the silence between them, connected by the bond that would end only with death, they shared one final thought. We did it. We kept the promise. We brought the garden to the stars. The legacy lived on.